play football in the way he plays it. I was very emotional about it because it's taken long. I sneaked into Messi's dad's hotel. He was going to make an announcement.
Mine, David Beckham, and yeah, you've been up to a lot recently. You've obviously brought Messi to Miami. You're shooting a documentary film that's coming out next week. But just talk to us about Miami first, because I think bringing Messi to the club has captured the imagination of everyone in the world.
Yeah, to be honest, obviously, you know, when I started this journey 10 years ago, announcing that I was starting a team in Miami, my vision was always to bring the best players. Now, I suppose as an owner of a team, you always want to bring the best players, but the chance of bringing the best players is difficult and always challenging. But then I sneaked into Messi's dad's hotel about 4 years ago in Barcelona for a meeting with him. And obviously at that point, you know, we wasn't ready to bring him and he wasn't ready to come. But I turned around to his dad and said, "We want your son. We want him to come to Miami when he's ready, and if that's a possibility." We continued the conversations, and with my partners, Jorge Mas and Jose, and we just worked on it for about 4 years. And then when he was at PSG, we then saw an opportunity that he was either going to go back to Barcelona, but then all of a sudden everything aligned. And then we were still having the conversations, and but to bring someone like him to the club, we knew it would change the club, and we knew it would change the league and the sport. But it's beyond that, you know. It's beyond that. What he does on the pitch, what he does off the pitch, you know, for the young kids, you know, to bring someone like him is the dream. And also Jordi Alba and Busquets, Sergio. But to bring Leo, he's changed everything. You know, the academy kids now have got someone else to look up to that has done everything, won everything, and he's teaching them, which is amazing. You know, the other day it was a funny interview from one of the academy kids who's doing really well, and they turned around to him and said, you know, "What's the best bit of advice Leo's given you so far?" And he said, "To walk more." He was like, he told me to walk more in the game. He said, because you see more. So, you know, it's already started. So it's already started with the good that he does. It's incredible.
You know, we've seen what he's done, bringing so much joy. He looks amazing every single game. When was the moment, and what was it like, the moment when he said, "Yep, I'm there, I'm coming"?
I think it was actually more emotional than it should have been, just because for the last 10 years to try and get this team up and running in Miami, there's been so many obstacles, so many challenges, and sometimes it looked like it weren't going to happen, and then obviously everything came together once I found the right partners in Miami. But the moment I was actually in Japan, the morning that I found out that he was coming, his dad had called us that week and said Leo's going to make an announcement. And then obviously 2 days out, they was like, okay, in the next 2 or 3 days, he's going to come out and say something. So we were kind of just waiting. And I was in Japan working, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning. The kids are in bed, Victoria's still sleeping, and my phone is like going mad because I'd forgot to turn it on silent. So Victoria's like telling me to turn it off. So I pick it up and I saw a barrage of like messages, and it was just, he'd come out and done his interview. But we always obviously wanted him to make a decision based on, you know, he wanted to live there with his family, wanted to still win and play football in the way he plays it. But we wanted him to announce it in his way. And he literally was sat in a hotel room with his mate filming and saying that he's coming to Miami. So for us, it was an unbelievable. I was very emotional about it because it's taken a lot of like hard work to get here.
So the contracts were agreed months before, obviously, and he was just deciding.
No, well, we'd kind of.
He hadn't tapped him up.
He hadn't tapped him up.
I'm getting to the bottom.
I'm trying to think about.
Tapped his dad up. He ain't tapped him up.
Trying to think about what I'm allowed to say.
But all that was already in place.
Yeah, with the offer, we'd made the offer,
Right.
but then obviously he'd had offers from Saudi. He'd had offers, obviously, to go back to Barcelona. And the Barcelona one kind of really worried me because obviously it pulls on the heartstrings for him. He never really got to say a proper goodbye at Barcelona. So that was the one that really worried me. But then, you know, it was then down to him to decide. And So that was,
I think most of us here think he's, one of the best players we've ever seen, maybe the best. I mean, has he gone up in your estimation, watching him in the flesh, seeing him day in, day out?
I mean, I played against him, obviously, for PSG, and I played against him for Real Madrid at Barcelona, and obviously he was unbelievable then, but it's not until you physically see him and you sat there and you're watching him, and every move that he does, and he never gives the ball away. He's unbelievable for the young kids. He's great with the young kids. And watching Leo in training, when he first joined, and when he arrived in Miami and he was training, I was there for the first 5 weeks when he first arrived. And I was in the training ground 7 a.m. every morning just to watch him. And I'm 48 years old, so to just watch him do what he does, train the way he does, prepare the way, it's just different.